room.
Well, let's speak to the political strategist AJ Bruno about all of this. Trump was lauded in the Middle East for the ceasefire in Gaza. Can he bring the same hope to Ukraine?
I hope so, but let's see. I mean, what's the problem here? He got so tired of what Putin's been doing in terms of playing games, not committing, not actually making a deal. So he might be a great, deal maker and getting people to come to the table, as seen with the whole Gaza situation. But if you have someone who is unwilling to do that, I think that would be the problem here. So hopefully he can. Apparently they're talking again. But I think what triggered that was, the whole threat of the potentially giving tomahawks to Ukraine. And that, that kind of thing gets Russia whining a bit. So who knows if they're just kind of posturing or they're actually going to do something.
And tomahawks, just to be clear, these are very powerful missiles that could be fired from Ukraine into Russian territory.
Right. I think the range is 1,500 miles, something like that. So it'd be the most powerful missile I think we would have given them. So, is that going to actually happen? I don't know. But I think, part of why they're talking is because that, worries them a bit. So we'll see what happens. The thing is, Russia wants everything. They don't believe in a compromise. Are they going to bend from that? Who knows? But we'll see. So far, it hasn't been very optimistic, but Trump thinks he gets something done. Crazier things have happened, I guess. So hopefully he can get some sort of deal done.
AJ, after the ceasefire that is still holding as far as we're aware at the moment, has that given Trump a bounce in America? Is he sort of like, getting a good reaction from people now?
Well, I even saw prominent Democrat leaders praising him for the peace deal. So when they have something nice to say about him, something has been done extremely well, because they're not going to come out and praise him for basically anything else. So it was a big achievement. That's why they were talking about the Nobel Peace Prize and all that. So yeah, I think you can't understate the importance of obviously getting those surviving hostages out, and hopefully bringing some semblance of peace to that region. But getting peace in the Middle East seems to never happen. But he's made a huge leap towards that. And I think that's why even his enemies are, praising him for it.
Right, there's peace and then there's peace. As you rightly say, in the Middle East, it's a ceasefire, not a peace agreement. We don't have a two-state solution. There's not sort of a recognised area of how that is going to actually fall out. And I wonder if actually what we're going to look at in Ukraine, given the trench warfare, the World War I style lines just stuck in the mud for years after years after years, I wonder if we're more likely to get a sort of Gaza-style ceasefire as opposed to an actual peace agreement.
Yeah, I mean, what's going on in Ukraine is obviously horrific. It has to stop. Are you going to get a just peace, though? That's the question. I think maybe in this situation, the best you can hope for is to freeze the lines. But if Putin's going to keep demanding that they cede the remainder of the Donbass, I mean, that's not going to happen, right? So it's just unrealistic demands he's making. If you can get a freeze, some sort of ceasefire, so at least stop the killing and get people talking, which is what Trump has been talking about. The problem is, I don't think Putin really cares about the lives of his people as much as he cares about his own ambition for a new Russian empire or whatever. So you need to have a situation where both sides actually want their people to stop dying. Hopefully that happens, and hopefully he can talk some sense into him.
Yeah, I mean, this obviously will be the second meeting between the two men in what, a month, a couple of months. It's a positive move at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, they brought him to Alaska. There was a whole, that whole summit there where we hoped we get this peace deal done. And then it was kind of, a letdown. Nothing really happened after that. Why Putin would fly all the way to Alaska and not actually get something done? I guess he did it for optics. But yeah, this time, hopefully there's the pressure, because you got to think that the Russian economy can't keep doing this forever, right? So hopefully they're feeling that pressure. We've had so many sanctions on them. There's been so much support from the U.S., UK, other countries towards Ukraine. Something's got to crack soon, and hopefully Trump can get over the finish line. And I think this is, this should be the #1 foreign policy priority right now. This has to stop.
OK, well, AJ Bruno, political strategist, thanks indeed for helping talk through this thorny issue. It'll be a fascinating couple of weeks over with the Americans.